His hand shakes when he lifts the glass. That's the first thing I notice about Dante Kincaid the night everything changes. Not the expensive suit clinging to his shoulders like wet silk. Not the way every head in La Serena blue turns when he walks through those doors, rain chasing him inside like it's got unfinished business. No, it's the tremor in his fingers as he tries to pour himself another drink and misses the rim completely. Whiskey spills across white marble. Nobody moves to clean it. I do, though. That's my job. Keep my head down, wipe up rich people's mistakes, collect tips that barely cover my mama's medications. For months working here taught me one rule that keeps me breathing. The rich talk, the poor stay invisible. But Dante Kincaid isn't talking tonight. He's drowning. Rain hammers the windows so hard it sounds like bullets, and somewhere in the kitchen, glasses shatter. The chandeliers flicker once, twice, throwing shadows that dance across faces I've served 100 times. Except tonight feels wrong. The kind of wrong that sits in your stomach like spoiled meat. I grab my tray, balance 3 wine glasses, and head toward table 7 where 2 men in suits too tight for this place just sat down. They don't belong here. Wrong shoes. Wrong watches. Wrong smiles. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Warm welcome to the family. The men's eyes track Dante like wolves watching a wounded deer. One of them leans forward, whispers something that makes Dante's jaw clench. The other slides his hand under the table, and that's when I see it, the dull gleam of gunmetal catching the light. My heart stops. 3 years ago, my daddy died because nobody spoke up when they should have. Bled out in an alley over gambling debts while people walked past pretending they didn't hear him choking on his own blood. I swore I'd never be that person. Never look away when it mattered. So I don't think. I just move. My tray slips from my hands like it's made of soap. Glass explodes across the floor, wine spreading like a fresh crime scene. The sound cuts through the restaurant like a scream. Everyone turns, including the wolves. I'm so sorry. My voice comes out shaky, real, exactly how it should sound when a clumsy waitress ruins a perfect night. But Dante's eyes meet mine for half a second, and something passes between us. Recognition. Not of me, of what I just did. His hand moves faster than I can track, disappearing into his jacket. The 2 men freeze as shadows peel away from the walls. Dante's people, the kind you don't see until it's too late. Within seconds, the wolves are being escorted out, their threats dying in the rain outside. I'm on my knees, hands shaking as I pick up glass, when expensive shoes stop in front of me. Dante crouches down, and his hand covers mine. Warm. Steady. Nothing like the trembling drunk I saw 2 minutes ago. You always throw yourself into trouble for strangers? His voice is smooth whiskey and broken promises. I can't look at him. Didn't want blood on the floor. He laughs, low and dangerous. You saved more than the floor, little bird. The nickname burns itself into my memory. He stands, still holding my gaze, and I see something in his eyes I don't expect. Not gratitude. Something heavier. Like he's trying to remember what kindness looks like. Then he's gone, disappearing into the rain like smoke. I finish cleaning the glass, hands still shaking, while the manager screams about broken stemware and ruined ambience. But all I can think about is the weight of Dante's stare and the question scratching at the back of my mind. What kind of man needs saving from himself? Would you risk everything for someone the whole world fears, or would you look away like everyone else? Drop your answer below, because this is just the beginning. Sleep doesn't come that night. I lie in my cramped studio apartment listening to sirens wail through the city, like ghosts crying for attention. The ceiling fan squeaks with every rotation, and somewhere below me, Mrs. Chen's TV plays the same late-night courtroom show she watches every night. My phone glows on the nightstand. 3:15 in the morning. In 5 hours, I need to be back at La Serena Blue, smiling through another shift of rich people treating me like expensive furniture. Except I can't stop seeing Dante's face. The way his hand steadied mine when everything inside me was screaming to run. The nickname that felt like a secret between strangers. Little bird. My chest tightens. Men like him exist in a different universe, one where power moves mountains and money erases mistakes. By tomorrow, he'll forget the waitress who dropped a tray. He'll go back to whatever empire he runs from the shadows, and I'll go back to being nobody. That's how these things work. That's how they always work. I finally drift off around 4, dreaming of broken glass and gunmetal gleaming under chandelier light. When my alarm screams at 8, I drag myself up, shower in water that never quite gets hot enough, and throw on my uniform. The pale blue fabric feels heavier today, like it knows something I don't. The bus ride downtown takes 40 minutes through traffic that crawls like a dying animal. I watch the city transform from crumbling apartments to glass towers that scrape the sky, each block marking the distance between my world and theirs. La Serena Blue sits on the corner of wealth and privilege, all marble columns and gold-trimmed windows. I slip through the employee entrance, punch my time card, and head for the locker room. That's when Marco, the day manager, intercepts me. His face looks strange, like he's trying to smile but forgot how. Amara. He says my name carefully. Mr. Delacroix wants to see you in his office. My stomach drops. Mr. Delacroix owns this place, shows up twice a month to count money and fire people who don't meet his standards. I've never spoken to him directly. Did I do something wrong? The words taste like ash. Marco's smile gets tighter. Just go. Now. I walk through the restaurant on legs that don't feel attached to my body. Early morning light streams through those massive windows, painting everything gold. The dining room's empty except for 2 servers setting tables for lunch service. Mr. Delacroix's office sits at the back, behind a door I've never had reason to open. I knock twice. My knuckles sound too loud. Come in. Not Mr. Delacroix's voice. I push the door open, and the air leaves my lungs in a rush. Dante Kincaid stands by the window, silhouetted against morning light like some kind of dark angel. He's not drunk now. He's sharp. Dangerous. Every inch of him radiates the kind of authority that makes grown men remember childhood fears. Mr. Delacroix sits behind his desk looking smaller than I've ever seen him. Miss Amara Sterling. Dante says my full name like he's tasting it. We need to talk. My throat closes up. This is it. Whatever I interrupted last night has consequences, and they've come for me wearing expensive cologne and cold eyes. I can explain. I start. No. He cuts me off, his voice quiet but absolute. You can't, but you're going to walk with me anyway. It's not a request. It's not even a command. It's just the truth rearranging itself around his words. Mr. Delacroix nods at me like a man watching his own execution. Go on, Miss Sterling. Mr. Kincaid is a valued patron. Dante moves toward the door, and I have 2 choices. Stay here and face whatever corporate death Mr. Delacroix has planned, or follow the man I saved into whatever comes next. I follow. The morning air hits different when you're walking beside someone who owns half the city. Dante doesn't speak as we cross the parking lot toward a black car that probably costs more than my entire life. A driver opens the door without being asked. Get in, Dante says softly. Every instinct screams danger. But something else whispers underneath it. Curiosity's sharp enough to cut. I slide into leather seats that smell like money and mistakes. Dante settles beside me, and the door closes with a sound like a coffin ceiling. The car pulls into traffic smooth as silk. That's when he finally looks at me, really looks, and I see something in his expression I can't name. Not anger, not gratitude. Something that feels like recognition. You could have been killed last night, he says quietly. Do you understand that? Ai fine, he whisper. That's not the point. His jaw tightens. Those men weren't playing games. They wanted me dead, and you walked straight into their crosshairs without thinking. Would you rather I hadn't? The question hangs between us like smoke. Dante studies me for a long moment, his eyes searching for something I don't know how to give. Then he leans back, and when he speaks again, his voice carries weight that makes my bones ache. Tell me something, Amara Sterling. In my world, people act out of fear or greed. Nothing else. So why did you do it? I think about my daddy bleeding in that alley, about all the people who stepped over him like garbage, about the kind of person I swore I'd never become, because nobody deserves to die alone at a table. The words come out simple. True. Stripped of everything except the core. Dante goes very still. Then something shifts in his face, not quite a smile, but close. Like he just remembered something he thought he'd lost forever. Where are we going? I finally ask. He turns toward the window, watching the city blur past. Somewhere safe. Somewhere I can figure out what to do with someone who's either the bravest person I've ever met or the most reckless. My pulse hammers in my throat, but I don't look away. Because somehow, sitting in this car with a man the whole world fears, I feel more alive than I have in 3 years. If you've ever made a choice that terrified you but felt right in your gut, hit that like button. Because Amara just crossed a line there's no coming back from. The ocean appears without warning. 1 second we're driving through downtown's steel and glass jungle. The next we're climbing a coastal road that curves along cliffs dropping straight into dark water. The morning sun turns everything silver and sharp. I've lived in this city my whole life and never seen this part.
Never had reason to.
These roads belong to people whose problems come with 7-figure price tags. The car slows, turning onto a private drive lined with trees that look older than America. Then the house appears, and my breath catches. It's not a house. It's a fortress pretending to be a home. White marble and floor-to-ceiling windows that reflect the ocean like they're trying to blend into it. Security cameras track our approach from angles I can count at least 6 of. The gate opens before we reach it, and suddenly we're inside a world I've only seen in movies. The driver stops in a circular driveway with a fountain in the center. Water dances in the morning light, and for a second, I forget how to be scared. Dante steps out first, then waits. Not rushing me, not pushing. Just standing there like he's got all the time in the world while I decide whether to trust him. I open my door and step into air that smells like salt and expensive decisions. This way. He walks toward massive double doors that open as we approach. No one visible opening them. Just technology and money making the world bend. Inside, the house swallows sound. My footsteps on marble floors echo like heartbeats in an empty chest. Everything's too clean, too perfect, like a museum where people forgot to live. Dante leads me through a hallway lined with paintings I probably couldn't afford to breathe near. We end up in an office with one wall made entirely of glass overlooking the ocean. A desk sits in the center, dark wood, clean lines, nothing personal except a single photo frame facing away from me. He moves to a bar cart, pours 2 glasses of water, hands me one without asking. You're wondering why you're here, he says. Among other things. I take the water, but don't drink. My hands need something to hold. Dante walks to the window, silhouetted against all that light and water. Those men last night worked for someone who wants me gone. They've been trying for months, but I'm careful. Paranoid, even. He pauses. Except when I'm drunk and grieving, apparently. The confession catches me off guard. He sounds almost human. Grieving what? The question slips out before I can stop it. He's quiet for so long I think he won't answer. Then, someone who taught me what mercy looked like. I lost her because I forgot that lesson. His voice drops lower. Last night was the anniversary of her death. Understanding hits like cold water. The empty chair. The drinking. The way he looked at that glass like it held answers instead of poison. I'm sorry. I say and mean it. Dante turns, and his expression shifts into something harder. Business. I want you to work here. Private staff. Better pay than La Serena Blue. Safer environment. My mind stutters. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you protection. From what? He sets his water down, moves closer. Not threatening, but deliberate. From the consequences of saving my life. Those men saw you. They know your face. And they'll come looking for leverage. Fear crawls up my spine. You're saying I'm in danger because I dropped a tray? I'm saying you became a target the moment you chose to act. His eyes hold mine, dark and honest. I can keep you safe here. Out there? He gestures toward the window. You're on your own. The words settle in my chest like stones. This isn't charity. It's calculation. A transaction where my safety costs him nothing, but gives him control. What's the catch? I ask. A ghost of a smile touches his mouth. Smart question. The catch is you'll see things most people don't. You'll know things that could get you killed if you ever decide to leave. This world. He gestures at the house, the ocean, everything money built. It's not kind to people who walk away. So I'm trading one cage for another. Maybe. Or maybe you're choosing which cage has better locks. He tilts his head. Tell me, Amara, what were you before last night? The question stings because I know the answer. Invisible. And now, a liability.
No.
His voice sharpens. Now you're someone who made a choice. Someone who acted when everyone else froze. That's not liability. That's power you don't even know you have yet. I want to argue, but something in his words rings true. For 3 years, I've been disappearing into background noise, collecting tips and swallowing anger. Playing it safe because safe meant surviving.
But safe didn't save my daddy.
And it won't save me from whatever's coming. How much time do I have to decide? I ask. Dante checks his watch. Platinum. Probably worth more than my car. The men who saw you last night will report back to their boss by tonight. Maybe sooner. So you have until then to decide if you want my protection or your independence. That's not fair. Fair died a long time ago in this city. He walks to his desk, pulls out a card with a phone number written in neat black ink. Call this number by 6 p.m. Yes or no. That's all I need. I take the card. My fingers brush his for half a second, and electricity shoots up my arm. One more thing, he says as I turn to leave. Why did you really do it? Not the pretty answer about deserving better. The real one. I stop at the door, hand on the frame. For a moment, I consider lying. But something about the way he's looking at me says he'll know. Because 3 years ago, my father died in an alley while people walked past pretending they didn't see. I swore I'd never be that person. I meet his eyes. So when I saw those men reach for guns, I didn't think. I just moved. Silence stretches between us like a wire pulled too tight. Then Dante nods once, slow and deliberate. That's the real answer. And that's why you're not like anyone else I've ever met. The driver takes me home. I spend the day staring at that card, at the number that feels like a door I can't unopen. By 5:45, I'm pacing my apartment, phone in hand, heart hammering against my ribs. At 5:59, I dial. He answers on the first ring. Yes or no? I close my eyes. Think about my mama's medications. About the cramped studio apartment and the bus rides through traffic. About being invisible until someone needed me to be brave. About the way Dante looked at me like I mattered. Yes. I'll send a card tomorrow at 8. His voice carries something that might be relief. Welcome to the deep end, little bird. The line goes dead. I sink onto my couch, hands shaking, and wonder what I just agreed to. What would you do if safety meant surrendering freedom? A comment below if you'd take the deal or run. The car arrives at 7:55. I'm ready because I barely slept. Spent all night packing the only things that matter: Mama's photos, Daddy's watch, the journal I've kept since I was 12. Everything else is just stuff, replaceable and forgettable. My landlord doesn't ask questions when I tell him I'm leaving. Just grunts and says my deposit won't cover the broken window from 2 months ago. I don't argue. Money doesn't matter when you're stepping off a cliff hoping someone catches you. The driver doesn't speak during the ride. Same car, same leather seats, same feeling like I'm being delivered somewhere I can't come back from. Morning traffic crawls, giving me too much time to think. By the time we pull through those gates again, my hands are clammy. But this time, someone's waiting. A woman stands near the fountain, clipboard in hand, wearing a black suit that probably costs more than my entire wardrobe. Her hair's pulled back, so tight it must hurt, and her expression says she's solved harder problems than me before breakfast. Amara Sterling. She doesn't make it a question. I'm Simone Tremont, house manager. Follow me. I grab my bag and trail behind her through those massive doors. Daylight changes everything. The house that felt like a museum at dawn now feels like a living thing. Staff move through hallways carrying linens, flowers, trays of food I can't name. Everyone has purpose. Everyone belongs. I'm the only one who doesn't. Simone leads me through a maze of corridors, up a marble staircase, down another hallway lined with doors. She stops at the last one, produces a key. Your quarters, she says, pushing the door open. I step inside, and my breath catches. It's bigger than my entire apartment. A four-poster bed dominates one wall, draped in white linens that look like clouds. Windows overlook the ocean, waves crashing against rocks far below. There's a sitting area with a couch, a desk, a bathroom I can see through an open door that has a tub deep enough to drown in. This can't be right, I whisper. Mr. Kincaid's instructions were clear. You're not staff, Miss Sterling. You're a guest. Simone's tone suggests she doesn't agree with the distinction. Dinner is at 7. He expects you to join him. Expects. Requests. She corrects herself with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. But in this house, requests from Mr. Kincaid aren't optional. She leaves me alone with my thoughts, and a room that feels like it belongs to someone else. I spend the afternoon unpacking, exploring, trying to understand the rules of a world where bedrooms cost more than houses. Every surface is too clean. Every detail, too perfect. Like someone designed a life and forgot to let anyone live in it. At 6:30, I shower in water pressure that feels like a massage. Find a dress hanging in a closet that somehow fits perfectly. Midnight blue. Simple, elegant. Not mine, obviously. Someone anticipated my size, my style, my everything. The thought makes my skin crawl. By 6:55, I'm standing outside the dining room, smoothing my dress for the 5th time and wondering if I can still run. You look nervous. Dante's voice comes from behind me, warm and amused. I spin around. He's changed too. Dark slacks, white shirt rolled to his elbows, no jacket. Less intimidating than yesterday, but somehow more dangerous. Like seeing the man underneath the armor. I don't know the rules here, I admit. There's only one rule. He gestures toward the dining room. Be honest. Everything else I can handle. We walk in together, and I stop breathing. The table could seat 20, but is set for 2. Candles flicker in the center, and through the windows, the sun bleeds into the ocean like the world's ending in slow motion. It's beautiful and terrifying and completely overwhelming. Dante pulls out my chair, waits until I sit, then takes a seat across from me. Not at the head of the table, directly across, like this is a conversation, not a power play. Tell me about yourself, he says as staff appear with the first course. Some kind of soup that smells like heaven. What do you want to know? Everything. Start with why you became a waitress. I taste the soup, lobster bisque, my brain supplies, and try to find words that don't sound pathetic. My mama got sick 3 years ago. Same time my daddy died. Medical bills, funeral costs, rent. I dropped out of college, got the first job I could find. La Serena Blue paid better than most. What were you studying? Criminal justice. The irony isn't lost on me. Wanted to be a detective. Help people the system ignores. Dante's expression shifts, something like respect flickering across his face. And now you're living with the kind of person detectives investigate. Are you a criminal? I ask before I can stop myself. He smiles, sharp and real. That depends on who's asking. The law says yes. I say I'm a businessman who operates in gray areas. That's a careful answer. It's an honest one. He sets down his spoon. I own vineyards in California, import wine from Italy, invest in real estate. All legal. But I also have interests that require handling problems outside traditional channels. You mean violence. I mean solutions. His eyes hold mine. The world isn't black and white, Tamara. It's every shade of gray between survival and destruction. I do what's necessary to protect what's mine. The second course arrives, fish so delicate it falls apart under my fork. We eat in silence for a moment, and I realize I'm not scared. I should be. But something about the way he talks to me like an equal makes fear feel optional. Can I ask you something? I venture. Always. Why am I really here? Not the safety reason. The real one. Dante leans back, studying me with eyes that see too much. Because in 38 years, I've learned that most people are predictable. They want money, power, sex, validation. You're the first person in a decade who wanted nothing from me except to keep me alive. He pauses. That kind of person is rare. And rare things are worth protecting. Or controlling. Maybe. He doesn't deny it, but I prefer to think of it as understanding. You fascinate me, Amara Sterling, and I want to understand why. The admission hangs between us like a confession. I should feel objectified, reduced to a curiosity. But instead, I feel seen. Really seen, maybe for the first time in years. What if you don't like what you find? I ask. Then at least I'll know the truth. He reaches for his wine, swirls it gently. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. Dessert comes, chocolate, something that melts on my tongue. We talk about smaller things. His vineyards in Napa. My mama's favorite books. The way the city looks different from the ocean than from downtown streets. It feels normal. Too normal for a dinner between a mafia boss and the waitress who saved him. When we finish, Dante walks me back to my room. The hallway's quiet except for our footsteps and the distant sound of ocean waves. He stops at my door. Thank you for trusting me enough to come here. I didn't have much choice. You always have a choice. His voice drops lower. Remember that. Whatever happens next, you chose this. Own it. I meet his eyes, and something passes between us that I don't have words for. Not attraction exactly. More like recognition. Two people who've survived things they shouldn't have, standing in a hallway pretending the world makes sense. Good night, little bird. Good night, Dante. He walks away, and I slip into my room, closing the door on a day that rewrote everything I thought I knew about safety and danger. That night, I dream of broken glass and ocean waves, and when I wake up, I can't tell which one I'm drowning in. Would you trust a man the world calls a monster if he treated you like you mattered? Let us know in the comments. 3 weeks pass like fever dreams. I wake up in silk sheets, eat breakfast prepared by chefs I never see, and spend my days learning the rhythm of a house that runs on secrets. Simone teaches me which rooms I can enter, which conversations I shouldn't hear, which staff members report directly to Dante. It's like learning a new language where every word has 3 meanings. But the strangest part isn't the luxury or the rules. It's how quickly normal becomes something else entirely. How I stop flinching when guards appear from nowhere. How I recognize the sound of Dante's footsteps before he enters a room. How I catch myself watching for him during meals, during walks along the cliffs, during the quiet hours when the house settles into sleep. He doesn't touch me, doesn't cross lines that might make this something it's not. But he talks to me like I matter. Asks questions nobody else bothers with. Listens when I answer instead of just waiting for his turn to speak. And somehow, that's more dangerous than anything else. Tonight, I find him where I always do after dinner, on the balcony overlooking the ocean, a glass of whiskey in his hand, staring at water like it holds answers. You come here every night, I say, stepping beside him. The wind catches my hair, tosses it across my face. It's the only place I can think. He doesn't look at me, just keeps watching waves crash against rocks far below. Out there, nothing wants anything from me. It just exists. Must be lonely. Loneliness is safe. He finally turns, and in the moonlight, his face looks younger.
Softer.
Want never stopped hurting people I care about. I lean against the railing, feeling metal cold through my dress. We've danced around this conversation for weeks, but tonight feels different. Like the air's charged with something that needs saying. The woman you lost, I venture carefully. What was her name? Dante goes very still. For a moment, I think he won't answer. Then, Isabella. My wife. The word hits like a fist.
Wife.
Past tense heavy as stone. How long ago? 3 years. Almost to the day you saved me. He takes a drink and I watch his throat work. She was pregnant. 7 months. They were driving home from a doctor's appointment when another car ran them off the road. My chest tightens. Dante, I'm so sorry. It wasn't an accident.
His voice goes flat.
It was a message. From people who wanted to remind me that power doesn't make you bulletproof. He turns the glass in his hands, watching whiskey catch moonlight. I spent 2 years hunting them down. Every single person involved. And when I found them, I made sure they understood exactly what they took from me. The confession should scare me. Should send me running back to my room, packing my bags, calling anyone who might help. But instead, I feel something else. Understanding. Not agreement, but recognition of grief, so deep it rewrites a person's DNA. What was she like? I ask quietly. Dante's expression softens.
Kind. Too kind for someone like me.
She used to volunteer at homeless shelters, teach kids to read, bring home stray cats she found in alleys. He laughs, low and broken. She saw good in everyone, even people who didn't deserve it. Like you. Especially me. He sets his glass down, grips the railing. She made me want to be better. Made me think maybe I could be the man she saw instead of the monster everyone else knew. His voice cracks. And then she was gone, and I remembered why monsters don't get happy endings. I don't think. Just reach out, rest my hand on his. His skin's warm despite the ocean breeze, and when his fingers close around mine, something shifts. You're not a monster, I say. You don't know that. I know you've had 3 weeks to hurt me and haven't. I know you ask about my mama's health every morning. I know you notice when I can't sleep and leave books outside my door. I squeeze his hand. Monsters don't do that. Dante looks at me, then really looks, and his eyes hold so much pain it steals my breath. Maybe I'm just good at pretending. Or maybe you're exactly who you are and that's enough. The moment stretches between us like a bridge neither of us knows how to cross. His thumb traces circles on my wrist, and I feel my pulse jump under his touch. You scare me, he admits. Not because of what you know. Because of what you make me feel. What do I make you feel? Hope. The word comes out like a confession. And hope's the most dangerous thing a man like me can have. Before I can respond, his phone buzzes. The spell breaks. He pulls away, checks the screen, and his expression hardens back into the mask I know too well. I have to handle something. He pockets the phone. Stay inside tonight. Don't open your door for anyone except Simone. Fear prickles my spine. What's wrong? Nothing I can't handle. But his jaw's tight, and his eyes scan the darkness beyond the balcony like threats might materialize from shadows. Just promise me you'll stay inside. I promise. He hesitates, then leans forward and presses his lips to my forehead.
Brief. Warm.
Charged with everything we're not saying. Good night, little bird. Lock your door. Then he's gone, disappearing into the house, and I'm left alone with ocean wind and a kiss that feels like goodbye. I go to my room, lock the door like he asked, but sleep won't come because something in the air feels wrong, like a storm gathering strength just beyond the horizon. At 3 a.m, I hear voices.
Low. Urgent.
Moving through hallways that should be silent. I press my ear to the door and catch fragments. Shipment intercepted. Victories moving tonight. Everything's compromised. The last voice I recognize. Dante's. Cold. Furious. Lethal. And underneath it all, one word that makes my blood freeze. Betrayal. What happens when trust becomes a weapon and the people closest to you are the most dangerous? Stay tuned, because everything Amara thought she knew is about to shatter. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next when loyalty gets tested and quiet girls learn to fight back. The file falls from my hands at exactly 4:13 in the morning. I shouldn't be in Dante's study. Shouldn't have left my room after he told me to stay locked inside. But sleep's impossible when voices echo through walls and the word betrayal keeps replaying in my head like a broken record. So I slipped out. Followed the sound of silence to the one place I knew held answers. His study door was open. Just a crack. like an invitation or a test. Inside, papers covered his desk, shipment manifests, financial records, names I recognized from dinner parties and business meetings. I told myself I was just looking, just trying to understand what kind of danger we're in. Then I saw the folder marked confidential in red ink. Inside were photographs, surveillance shots of Dante meeting with men in expensive suits, bank transfers moving millions through offshore accounts. And at the bottom, a typed note on letterhead I recognized from the restaurant, La Serena Blues official stationery. The note reads, "Final payment approved. Shipment moves Friday. Kincaid won't see it coming."
Vieri.
My hands shake as pieces click together. Don Vieri, the man who's been at this house for dinner 3 times in the past 2 weeks. The one who laughs too loud and drinks too much and always sits to Dante's right like a trusted brother. He's planning something. Something that involves shipments and payments, and Dante not seeing it coming. I flip through more papers, my pulse hammering so loud I almost missed the footsteps in the hallway. Almost. I shove the file back onto the desk, but it's too late. The footsteps stop outside the door. My heart climbs into my throat. If it's Dante, I'm caught snooping through his private files. If it's someone else, I might be witnessing something I'm not supposed to survive knowing about. The door swings open. Simone stands there, her expression unreadable in the dim light. She's still wearing her day clothes, which means she hasn't slept either. "Miss Sterling." Her voice is ice. "This area is restricted." "I couldn't sleep," I say, trying to sound casual while my insides turn to water. "I was just invading Mr. Kincaid's privacy." She steps inside, closes the door behind her. Or perhaps looking for something specific? The accusation lands like a slap. "I'm not a spy." "Then what are you?" She moves closer, and I see something in her eyes I haven't seen before.
Fear.
Because in 3 years of working for Mr. Kincaid, I've never seen him bring someone into this house the way he brought you. And now you're in his study at 4 in the morning going through confidential files. I heard voices. Something about betrayal. The words tumble out. I just wanted to understand what's happening. Simone studies me for a long moment. Then she does something unexpected. She walks to the desk, picks up the file I was reading, and opens it. "Don Vieri," she says quietly. "Mr. Kincaid's oldest friend. His most trusted associate."
She looks at me.
"And the man who's been selling him out to his enemies for 6 months. The confirmation makes my stomach drop. Dante knows.
He suspects.
But suspicion without proof is just paranoia in this world. She sets the file down. That's why he's been gathering evidence. Watching. Waiting for Vieri to make a mistake big enough to justify what comes next. What comes next? Simone's smile doesn't reach her eyes. Justice. The kind that doesn't involve courts or lawyers. I think about the conversation on the balcony. About Isabella and the people Dante hunted down. About what happens when a man like him decides someone's broken his trust. "There's going to be blood," I whisper. "There's always blood." Simone straightens. "The question is whose. And whether you're willing to help prevent it from being his." My mouth goes dry. "What are you asking me to do?" She pulls out her phone, shows me a text message. It's from an unknown number, sent 2 hours ago. "Dinner party Friday. All targets confirmed. Move at 9 sharp." Vieri's planning something for Friday night, Simone explains. "A dinner party here, with all of Mr. Kincaid's business partners. The same partners whose money Vieri's been stealing." She pockets the phone. He's going to make his move that night. Frame Mr. Kincaid for the thefts, turn everyone against him, and take over the empire while he's dealing with the fallout. How do you know all this? Because I've been watching Vieri longer than Mr. Kincaid has. Her expression hardens. And because 3 years ago, he's the one who gave Isabella's location to the people who killed her. The room tilts. What? Vieri wanted power. Isabella was in the way. So he made a deal. Simone's voice shakes with barely controlled rage. Mr. Kincaid never found proof. But I knew. I've always known. Understanding crashes over me. That's why you're telling me this. You want revenge. I want justice. She corrects. And I need your help to get it. Why me? I'm nobody. You're the one person in this house Vieri doesn't see as a threat. You're just the waitress, mister. Kincaid took pity on. She leans forward, which means you can get close to him in ways the rest of us can't. My mind races. This is exactly what Dante warned me about. Getting involved in things that could get me killed. Crossing lines I can't uncross. But I remember the pain in his eyes when he talked about Isabella, about their unborn child, about losing everything because someone he trusted betrayed him. And I remember my promise to myself. Never look away when it matters. What do you need me to do? I ask. Simone smiles, and for the first time since I met her, it looks genuine. Friday night during dinner, you're going to serve drinks. And when you pour Vieri's wine, you're going to make sure he sees this. She pulls a flash drive from her pocket. It contains every piece of evidence Mr. Kincaid's been gathering. Bank records, recorded conversations, proof that Vieri's been stealing millions and framing others for it. You want me to just show it to him? I want him to know we know. I want him to panic. Because panicked men make mistakes. Her eyes glitter. And when he makes his move Friday night, we'll be ready. The weight of what she's asking settles on my shoulders like concrete. This isn't just helping. This is becoming an accomplice. This is choosing a side in a war I barely understand. If this goes wrong, I start. Then we both die. Simone cuts me off. But if we do nothing, Mr. Kincaid dies. And the man who killed Isabella gets everything he ever wanted. I think about Dante's hand covering mine, about the kiss on my forehead, about the way he looks at me like I'm worth protecting, about how nobody protected my daddy when he needed it most. I take the flash drive. Friday night. I'll do it. Simone nods. Get back to your room. And, Miss Sterling. She pauses at the door. If you breathe a word of this to Mr. Kincaid, I'll make sure you regret it. He can't know we're involved. Not until it's over. She leaves me alone in the study with a flash drive that feels like a loaded gun and a choice I can't take back. When I finally crawl into bed, dawn's breaking over the ocean. And all I can think is, Friday's in 2 days, and I just agreed to start a war. Have you ever had to choose between staying safe and doing what's right, even when right might kill you? Drop a comment, because Amara just made a choice that's going to change everything. Friday arrives too fast. I spend 2 days watching Dante prepare for the dinner party, like a man walking toward his own execution. He doesn't know I know. Doesn't see the way my hands shake when I pass him in hallways or how I avoid his eyes during meals. The flash drive burns in my pocket like evidence of a crime I haven't committed yet. Thursday night, he finds me in the library. I'm pretending to read a book I can't focus on while my mind runs through everything that could go wrong tomorrow. You're quiet, he says, settling into the chair across from me. Just tired. The lie tastes like ash. He studies me with those dark eyes that see too much. Liar. You've been avoiding me for 2 days. What's wrong? Everything. I want to scream. Your best friend's planning to destroy you, and I'm about to help expose him, and I'm terrified you're going to hate me for getting involved. Instead, I close the book. Just nervous about tomorrow. Big dinner party. Lots of important people. You don't have to serve if you don't want to. His voice softens. Simone has plenty of staff. I want to. The words come out too quick. I mean, I should earn my place here somehow. Dante's expression shifts into something I can't read. You don't owe me anything, Amara. You're here because I want you here. Not because you need to work off some imaginary debt. The sincerity in his voice makes my chest ache. He really means it. In his twisted way, he's trying to protect me, which makes what I'm about to do tomorrow feel like the worst kind of betrayal. Can I ask you something? I venture. Always. Do you trust the people coming tomorrow? He's quiet for a beat too long. In my world, trust is a luxury. I verify everything and hope for the best. But Vieri, you trust him, right? Something flickers across Dante's face. Not quite suspicion. More like confirmation of something he already knew. Why do you ask about Vieri specifically? My heart hammers. I've said too much. No reason. He just seems close to you. He was. Dante's voice goes flat.
Once.
Before I started noticing things that didn't add up. So he does know. Or suspects. Which means tomorrow night isn't just about exposing Vieri. It's about giving Dante the proof he needs to act. What happens when you stop trusting someone? I ask quietly. Dante leans forward, elbows on his knees, and his eyes hold mine. Depends on what they did. Small betrayals get second chances. Big ones. He pauses. There are no second chances for the kind of betrayal that costs lives. The weight of his words settles between us like a promise and a threat.
Get some sleep, he says, standing.
Tomorrow's going to be a long night. He leaves me alone with my thoughts and the flash drive that feels heavier every hour. Friday morning comes with gray skies and ocean wind that smells like rain. The house transforms into controlled chaos. Staff setting tables, arranging flowers, polishing silver that probably costs more than a car. Simone finds me in the kitchen at noon. You ready? I nod, even though I'm not. Will never be. She hands me a serving uniform, black dress, white apron, the kind of outfit that makes you disappear into the background. During cocktail hour, you'll circulate with wine. When Vieri's alone, show him the drive. Just a flash. Enough that he knows we have it. And then we watch him panic. Her smile is ice. And when he makes his move, we make ours. By 6 p.m., guests start arriving. Men in suits that cost more than my mama's annual medical bills. Women dripping in jewelry that could fund a small country. They laugh and drink and pretend the world isn't built on blood and secrets. I move through the crowd with a tray of champagne, invisible and essential all at once. Dante stands near the fireplace, playing host with a kind of charm that makes people forget he's dangerous. He catches my eye once, and something passes between us. A question he's not asking. A worry I can't explain. Vieri arrives at 7, loud and jovial, slapping backs and telling jokes. He's older than Dante, silver touching his temples, his suit just slightly too expensive. Overcompensating. I watch him work the room, and nausea rolls through my stomach. This man killed Isabella. Killed her baby. And tomorrow he planned to destroy Dante too. Not anymore. At 8:30, Vieri steps onto the balcony alone. Cigarette smoke curls into night air. This is my moment. I grab a wine bottle, steady my shaking hands, and walk outside. Refill, sir? He barely glances at me. Sure, sweetheart.
Et pour slowly, deliberately.
Then, as I set the bottle down, I pull the flash drive from my pocket. Let it rest on the serving tray, where only he can see it. His eyes land on it.
Go wide.
Then snap to my face. Where did you get that? His voice drops to a hiss. Does it matter? I keep my tone light, innocent. Mr. Kincaid thought you might want to see what's on it. Before dinner. The color drains from his face. You don't know what you're doing. Don't I? I lean closer, dropping the act. Isabella Kincaid. 3 years ago. You gave them her location. He lunges for the flash drive, but I'm faster.
Pocket it. Step back.
Touch me, and everyone inside hears you threaten the help. I say quietly, is that really how you want this to go? Vieri's hands shake. Not from fear.
From rage.
You're dead.
You understand that?
You just signed your death warrant. Maybe. I turn to leave. But so did you. 3 years ago. I walk back inside, heart pounding so hard I can barely hear the conversations around me. Behind me, I feel Vieri's eyes burning into my back. The trap is set. Now we just have to survive springing it. Dinner starts at 9. 14 people around a table that gleams like an altar. Dante sits at the head, Vieri to his right, exactly where traitors always sit in stories. I stand against the wall with other servers, watching, waiting. Vieri's sweating.
Drinking too fast.
His eyes dart to exits like a trapped animal calculating escape routes. At 9:45, he excuses himself. Says he needs air. Simone catches my eye. Nods once. This is it. I slip out the side door, following the path Vieri took. He's heading toward the garage, phone pressed to his ear, voice urgent and angry. Move it up. Tonight. I don't care about the schedule. Everything's compromised. He doesn't see me in the shadows, doesn't hear me breathing, but Dante does. He steps out of darkness like a ghost, and Vieri freezes mid-sentence. Going somewhere, old friend? Dante's voice is silk over steel. Vieri's face cycles through emotions, shock, fear, calculation, resignation.
Dante.
I can explain. Can you? Dante moves closer. Can you explain why you've stolen 17 million from our partners? Or why Isabella's killers knew exactly where to find her that day? The question lands like a bullet. Vieri's face goes white. How long have you known? He whispers. Long enough. Dante's expression doesn't change. The question is why? Why betray someone who trusted you like a brother? Because you had everything. Vieri explodes. The respect, the power, the perfect wife. While I scraped for scraps at your table, playing second forever. So you killed her. Dante's voice breaks on the last word. You took everything from me, because you were jealous. I took what should have been mine. Vieri pulls a gun from his jacket, and my heart stops. But Dante doesn't flinch, doesn't move. Because 6 guards materialize from the darkness, weapons trained on Vieri from every angle. Drop it, Dante says quietly, or I let them drop you. Vieri's hand shakes. The gun wavers, then clatters to the concrete. Guards move in, disarming him, forcing him to his knees. Dante walks forward until he's standing over the man who destroyed his life. And his expression is the coldest thing I've ever seen. I could kill you, he says. Should kill you. For Isabella. For everything you took. Then do it.
Vieri spitz.
Dante's hand moves toward his own weapon. And I realize with horrible clarity that I'm about to watch him become the monster everyone thinks he is. Unless someone stops him. Don't. My voice cuts through the night. Everyone turns. Including Dante. I step forward, hands shaking but steady. He wants you to kill him. Wants you to prove you're exactly what he always said you were. I meet Dante's eyes. But you're not. You're better than that. Better than him. He killed my wife. Dante's voice cracks. My child. I know. Tears blur my vision. And killing him won't bring them back. It'll just make you the man Isabella wouldn't recognize. The words hit him like a physical blow. His hand falls. The weapon stays holstered.
He turns to his guards. Take him.
Let the police handle it. I have all the evidence they need. They drag Vieri away, his screams fading into the night. When we're alone, Dante looks at me with eyes full of pain and something else. Gratitude. Regret. Recognition. You saved me again, he whispers.
No.
I step closer. You saved yourself. I just reminded you who you are. He pulls me into his arms, and I feel him shaking. Not from fear. From the weight of a choice that cost him revenge, but saved his soul. And in that moment, I understand what justice really means. Not violence. Not revenge. Just choosing mercy when the world expects blood. When someone you care about stands at the edge of becoming something they can't come back from, do you pull them back or let them fall? Comment below, because what comes next will test everything Amara and Dante have built. The house empties like water draining from a broken glass. Within an hour of Vieri's arrest, every guest disappears into the night with excuses that sound hollow in expensive voices. Police arrive with sirens that shatter the ocean quiet, asking questions that take until 3 in the morning to answer. I tell them what I know. Leave out the parts that would make me an accomplice. By the time they leave with Vieri in handcuffs and evidence boxes full of Dante's carefully gathered proof, dawn's breaking over water that looks like melted silver. Dante stands on the balcony where this all started, still wearing his dinner clothes, looking like a man who's fought a war and isn't sure he won. I find him there as the sun climbs higher. You should be sleeping, he says without turning. So should you. I lean against the railing beside him. Close but not touching. How are you holding up? He laughs, sharp and broken. I just watched my oldest friend get arrested for murdering my wife.
I'm fantastic.
The sarcasm can't hide the pain underneath. Simone told me. I say quietly. About Isabella. About Vieri being involved. Dante turns then, and his expression is raw. How long have you known? 2 days. I meet his eyes. She asked me to help expose him. I agreed. Something dangerous flickers across his face. You put yourself in danger. Again. For me. For justice, I correct. There's a difference. Is there? He steps closer, and suddenly the space between us feels electric. You keep saving me, Amara. From assassins. From myself. From becoming the monster I swore I'd never be again. Maybe I just see something in you that's worth saving. His hand comes up, fingers tracing my jaw with a gentleness that makes my breath catch. Or maybe you're too good for this world. Too pure for someone like me to touch. I'm not pure. The words come out shakier than I intend. I've made plenty of mistakes. Name one. Falling for a man who thinks he's a monster. The confession hangs between us like a lit match near gasoline. Dante goes very still, his eyes searching mine for truth or lies or whatever answer he needs. You don't fall for monsters, he says quietly. You run from them. Then maybe you're not as much of a monster as you think. He leans forward, close enough that I can feel his breath against my lips. If I kiss you right now, I won't stop. I won't be able to. My heart hammers so hard it hurts. Then don't stop. His mouth finds mine, and the world catches fire. The kiss is desperate. Hungry. 3 weeks of unspoken tension finally breaking free. His hands slide into my hair, pulling me closer, and I taste whiskey and grief, and something that might be hope. When we finally break apart, both breathing hard, he rests his forehead against mine. This is a mistake, he whispers. Probably. I'm going to hurt you. Maybe. I can't promise you normal. Can't promise safety. I can't promise anything except the truth. I pull back enough to see his face. Then promise me the truth. No more secrets. No more pretending. He studies me for a long moment, then nods. The truth is I'm scared. Terrified of caring about you the way I cared about Isabella. Because losing her nearly destroyed me, and if I lose you, you won't. I cut him off. I'm not going anywhere. You say that now. I say that because I mean it. I grip his shirt, holding him in place. I've spent 3 years hiding, playing it safe, being invisible, and it got me nowhere except alone and angry. My voice cracks. Then I met you, and for the first time in forever, I felt like I mattered, like my choices had weight, like I could be more than just a ghost in my own life. Dante's eyes shine with something that might be tears. You matter more than you know, more than is safe for either of us. Then let's be unsafe together. I kiss him again, softer this time. A promise instead of a question. When the sun's fully risen, we go inside. The house feels different now. Quieter, like it's exhaling after holding its breath for 3 years. Simone finds us in the kitchen, where I'm making coffee and Dante's pretending he knows how to cook eggs. She takes one look at us, at how close we're standing, at the way his hand rests on my lower back and smiles. So you finally figured it out, she says. Figured what out? I ask. That you two have been circling each other like planets caught in each other's gravity since the night you dropped that tray. She pours herself coffee. Took you long enough. Dante throws a dish towel at her. She catches it without looking. What happens now? I ask. With Vieri. With the business. Now we rebuild. Dante's voice is steady. Certain. I've got partners to reassure, contracts to renegotiate, trust to repair. It'll take months. Maybe years. He turns to me. And I'd like you there. Not as staff. Not as someone I'm protecting. As my partner. The word lands heavy. Partner. Equal. Someone who stands beside him instead of behind. In business or in life? I ask. Both. If you want. I think about my cramped apartment. About my mama's medical bills. About the life I was living 3 weeks ago versus the one I'm standing in now. I want. I say simply. Simone raises her coffee mug. To new beginnings and old endings. May we always know which is which. We drink to that. To justice served cold and mercy served warm. To betrayals exposed and trust earned the hard way. But as the morning stretches into afternoon and police continue their investigation and reporters camp outside the gates asking questions about the arrest of Don Vieri, I catch Dante staring at the ocean with an expression I can't quite read. What are you thinking? I ask when we're alone again. He's quiet for so long I think he won't answer. Then, I'm thinking that for 3 years I've been frozen. Stuck in a moment I lost Isabella, unable to move forward or back. Just existing in this house, like a ghost haunting his own life. And now, he takes my hand, threading his fingers through mine. Now I'm thinking maybe it's time to stop haunting. Time to live again. That's terrifying. Absolutely. He pulls me closer. But so is everything worth having. The sun sets over the ocean in colors that look like promises. Orange and pink and gold bleeding into blue-black night. And for the first time since my daddy died, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Even if where I'm supposed to be is standing beside a man the world calls dangerous, learning that danger and safety aren't opposites. They're just different sides of the same truth. Sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is open your heart. And sometimes it's the only thing worth doing. When the person you save ends up saving you right back, is it fate or just two broken people finding the right pieces? Let us know what you think, because this story isn't over yet. 6 months later, the ocean still sounds like home. I wake up to sunlight streaming through windows I chose myself, in a room that's mine because Dante put my name on the deed. Not as a gift. As recognition that I earned my place here through blood and courage and choices that cost me sleep. The house feels different now. Less like a fortress and more like a home. There's laughter in the hallways. Music during dinner. Staff who smile instead of watching their backs. Vieri's trial ended 3 weeks ago. Life sentence, no parole. Evidence was overwhelming. Financial records, recorded conversations, testimony from people he betrayed. The news called it the biggest organized crime bust in a decade. They don't know the half of it. Isabella's Real killers turned themselves in after Vieri's arrest, cutting deals to save their own skins. Dante watched their sentencing from the back of the courtroom, his hand gripping mine so tight I lost feeling in my fingers. When it was over, he cried. Not the broken sobbing of grief, but the quiet tears of closure. Of a chapter finally ending so a new one could begin. My mom is doing better. New doctors, better treatment, medication that actually works. She asks about Dante every time we talk, and I can hear the smile in her voice when I tell her he's good. That we're good. Because we are. Not perfect. Not easy. But good in the way that matters.
He still has nightmares sometimes.
Wakes up reaching for weapons that aren't there, fighting enemies that only exist in memory. I hold him through those nights, remind him where he is, who he's become. And some nights, I'm the one who wakes up gasping, remembering the weight of that flash drive. The look on Vieri's face. The sound of a gun hitting concrete. Those nights, Dante holds me, reminds me that I'm safe, that the choices I made were right, even when they felt impossible. We're healing, both of us, together. This morning, I find him in his study, working through contracts and business deals that look complicated even from across the room. He glances up when I enter, and his whole face softens. Morning, little bird. Morning. I set coffee on his desk. You've been up for hours. Couldn't sleep. Too much on my mind. I perch on the edge of his desk. Good thoughts or bad thoughts? Different thoughts. He leans back, studying me with those dark eyes that still make my heart skip. I've been thinking about the restaurant.
La Sirena Blue.
It's been struggling since the news broke about Vieri. People don't want to eat where scandal happened. He pauses. Mr. Delacroix wants to sell. Retire somewhere quiet and forget this whole mess ever happened. Can you blame him?
No.
But I can make him an offer. Dante pulls out a folder, slides it toward me. I'm thinking about buying it, renovating it, turning it into something new. I flip through the documents, purchase agreements, renovation plans, staffing proposals. It's comprehensive, detailed, the kind of plan that took months to develop. This is amazing, I say. But why are you showing me? He stands, comes around the desk until he's standing in front of me, takes both my hands in his. Because I want you to run it. The words hit like lightning. What? Not as a waitress. As the owner. My partner, in every sense of the word. His thumbs trace circles on my wrists. You saved my life twice, Amara. Helped me find justice for Isabella. Showed me how to be human again. The least I can do is help you become who you were meant to be before life knocked you down. Tears blur my vision. Dante, I can't. You can. You will. His voice is gentle but firm. You told me once you wanted to help people the system ignores. Well, this is how you do it. Give them a place where they're seen, where they matter, where shy waitress can become the owner. The dream I buried 3 years ago when my daddy died suddenly feels possible again. Not the same dream, something better. Something I built instead of inherited. Why? I whisper. Because mercy doesn't stop with one act. It's a choice you make every day. He kisses my forehead. You taught me that. Now let me teach you what power looks like when it's used for good. I throw my arms around his neck, and he catches me, lifting me off the desk like I weigh nothing. His mouth finds mine, and the kiss tastes like coffee and new beginnings. When we break apart, I'm smiling so hard my face hurts. Okay, I say. Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
On one condition. Name it. We rename it. Something that means new beginning. Fresh start. Dante thinks for a moment, then grins.
How about la vita nuova?
The new life. Perfect. We spend the rest of the morning planning. Renovation timelines. Menu changes. Staff will keep and positions will create. Every decision feels important. Every choice weighted with possibility. Around noon, Simone knocks. Sorry to interrupt, but you have visitors. Dante frowns. I'm not expecting anyone. I know, but I think you'll want to see them. We follow her to the front entrance, where 2 women stand in the foyer, looking nervous. One's older, silver-haired, wearing a dress that's seen better days. The other's younger, maybe 20, with eyes that hold too much pain for someone that age. Mr. Kincaid? The older woman's voice shakes.
I'm Margaret Holloway.
This is my daughter, Sarah. Recognition flickers across Dante's face. You're Henry Holloway's family. Yes. Margaret's hands twist together. He worked for you. Before Vieri framed him for embezzlement, and he went to prison. My stomach drops. Henry Holloway was one of the people Vieri destroyed on his way to stealing millions. An accountant who caught discrepancies and got blamed for them. He died 6 months ago. Margaret continues, tears streaming down her face. In prison. Never got to clear his name. Dante's jaw tightens. I'm so sorry. If I'd known sooner. We're not here for apologies. Sarah steps forward, her voice stronger than her mother's. We're here because the news said you exposed Vieri. That you have proof he framed innocent people.
Ido.
Can you help us clear my father's name? Sarah's eyes burn with determination. He died thinking everyone believed he was a thief. I need the world to know the truth. Dante looks at me, then back at them. I'll do better than that. I'll make sure every person Vieri destroyed gets justice. Exonerations. Financial compensation. Public acknowledgement of the truth. Margaret sobs. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't thank me. Dante's voice is rough with emotion. Thank her. He gestures to me, and suddenly 2 strangers are looking at me like I'm something special. She's the one who helped expose him, Dante continues. She's the one who reminded me that justice isn't about revenge. It's about making things right. Sarah crosses the room, takes my hands. You saved our father's reputation. That's everything. I don't know what to say, so I just squeeze her hands and nod. After they leave with promises to stay in touch, Dante pulls me close. This is what it means, he says quietly. choosing mercy over vengeance. We can't bring back the dead, but we can honor them by helping the living. I think about my daddy, about how nobody helped him, about how different things might have been if someone had. We're going to help a lot of people, aren't we? I ask. We're going to try. He kisses the top of my head. One restaurant, one exoneration, one act of kindness at a time. That night, we stand on the balcony watching stars appear over the ocean. The same balcony where he told me about Isabella, where I helped him choose mercy over murder. You know what the crazy part is? Dante says. What? I thought losing Isabella meant I'd never feel whole again, that I'd spend the rest of my life half dead, just going through the motions. He turns to me. But you didn't make me forget her. You made me remember why I loved her in the first place. The goodness, the hope, the belief that people can be better than their worst moments. She'd be proud of you, I finish softly. I hope so. His voice cracks just slightly. I hope she'd understand that loving you doesn't mean forgetting her. It means honoring what she taught me. It does. I lean into him. Love isn't a limited resource. It grows when you share it. We stay like that until the ocean turns black and stars multiply like diamonds scattered across velvet. And I realize this is what peace feels like. Not the absence of pain, just the presence of someone who makes the pain bearable. Amara? Yeah. Thank you for dropping that tray. I laugh, surprised. That's random. No, it's not. He pulls me around to face him. If you hadn't done that, I'd be dead. Or I'd have killed Vieri and become the monster I spent years trying to escape. Either way, I wouldn't be here. Wouldn't be holding you. Wouldn't be planning a future that actually feels possible. So you're saying my clumsiness saved your life? I'm saying your courage did. The clumsiness was just the delivery method. I kiss him, tasting salt air and expensive whiskey and something that feels like forever. When we pull apart, he's smiling that rare smile that transforms his entire face. Let's go inside, he says. I want to show you the final renovation plans for the restaurant.
Now?
It's almost midnight. Best time to dream. He takes my hand. Come on, little bird. Let's build something beautiful. We spend hours going over blueprints and color schemes and menu ideas that sound impossible until Dante explains how they work. He talks about hiring people who need second chances, about creating a place where dignity matters more than pedigree. And I realize this is his way of healing, not by forgetting the past, but by transforming it into something that helps others. Around 3 a.m, exhausted and happy, I fall asleep on the couch in his study. He covers me with a blanket, and I feel his lips brush my forehead. Sleep well, beautiful. We got work to do tomorrow. I drift off dreaming of white tablecloths and fresh starts and a life I never imagined wanting until it chose me. When you find someone who sees your potential even when you can't see it yourself, hold on to them. Because those are the people who change your life. Drop a heart emoji if this story's touching yours. 3 months later, La Vida Nuova opens on a Tuesday night in October. The rain comes down just like it did the first night I met Dante, except this time it feels like a baptism instead of a warning. The restaurant gleams with new life, marble floors polished to mirrors, walls painted in warm golds and deep blues, windows that overlook the city like promises. We kept the chandeliers. Dante insisted. Said they were the only witnesses to the night everything changed. I stand in the dining room wearing a black dress I actually chose myself, watching staff arrange final details. Some of them worked here before. Some are new. All of them have stories about second chances and fresh starts. Miguel, the head chef, spent 5 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Vieri's evidence helped exonerate him. Keisha, the hostess, was homeless 2 years ago before Dante's foundation helped her get back on her feet. Marcus, our sommelier, lost his restaurant during the economic crash and thought he'd never work in fine dining again. This place isn't just a restaurant. It's proof that mercy works. That giving people chances instead of judgment creates something beautiful. Dante finds me near the entrance, adjusting my collar even though it's perfect. His hands linger, and I catch them, bringing them to my lips. Nervous? I ask. Terrified. But he's smiling. What if nobody comes? They'll come. I gesture toward the windows where a line's already forming outside despite the rain. Half the city wants to see what we built. What you built, he corrects. I just wrote the checks. Liar. You were here every day making decisions and arguing with contractors about wall colors. Only because you asked my opinion. Only because your opinion matters. We stand there grinning at each other like fools until Simone clears her throat. Hate to interrupt this mutual admiration society, but we open in 5 minutes. She's wearing something other than black for the first time since I met her, a deep burgundy that makes her look almost human. You two ready? I take a deep breath. Ready. Dante squeezes my hand once, then steps back. This is your show, partner. I'm just here for moral support and free food. The food's not free. You're paying like everyone else. Worth every penny. At exactly 6 p.m., we open the doors. The crowd surges in: journalists, business partners, curiosity seekers, people who heard the story and wanted to be part of the new chapter. But in the back, quiet and dignified, I see faces that matter more. Margaret and Sarah Holloway. 3 other families whose loved ones Vieri destroyed. Former employees who lost everything and are just now rebuilding. They're not here for the spectacle. They're here because this place represents justice that actually worked. The night blurs into organized chaos. Orders flying, wine flowing, conversations rising and falling like waves. I move through the dining room, checking on guests, answering questions, feeling more alive than I have in years. Around 9, I find Dante at our old table, the one in the back corner where he sat drunk and grieving the night this all started. He's not alone. An older woman sits across from him, silver-haired and elegant, with eyes that look familiar. I approach carefully, not wanting to interrupt. Dante sees me and smiles. Amara, there's someone I'd like you to meet.
He stands.
This is Catherine Moretti, Isabella's mother. My heart stops. I've heard about her. The matriarch who moved to Italy after her daughter's death, unable to bear the city that killed her. Mrs. Moretti. I don't know whether to shake her hand or bow or what. It's an honor. She stands, studying me with sharp eyes that miss nothing. Then she does something unexpected.
She hugs me.
Thank you, she whispers, for bringing him back to life. Tears burn my eyes. I didn't. You did. She pulls back, hands on my shoulders. He called me 6 months ago. First time in 2 years we'd spoken. Told me he'd met someone who reminded him that good people still exist. Her voice shakes. He sounds like the man my daughter fell in love with. And that's because of you. I glance at Dante, who's watching us with an expression that's pure vulnerability. Your daughter saved him first, I say quietly. I just helped him remember her lessons. Catherine's smile is sad and beautiful. Isabella would have liked you. She always said Dante needed someone brave enough to stand up to him. She sounds incredible. She was. Catherine squeezes my hands once more, then releases them. But so are you. Don't ever forget that. She leaves us alone with her blessing hanging in the air like grace. Dante pulls me close, and we sway slightly even though there's no music playing. You okay? I ask. More than okay. His voice is thick with emotion. For 3 years I was drowning. Tonight, I finally feel like I can breathe. The restaurant hums around us, life and laughter and second chances colliding in the space where danger once lived. Around midnight, after the last guest leaves and the staff finishes cleaning, Dante and I stand in the empty dining room. Rain still hammers the windows, but inside, everything's warm and golden. We did it, I say. You did it. He corrects. I just got lucky enough to be there when you decided to stop being invisible. You know what's funny? What? The night I dropped that tray, I thought my life was over. Thought I'd lost my job and maybe gotten myself killed. I turn to face him. Turns out it was just beginning. Dante cups my face, thumbs brushing away tears I didn't know were falling. Best mistake you ever made. Best choice, I correct. I chose to act, chose to care, chose to believe that one person could make a difference. And you were right. He kisses me softly. You made all the difference. We lock up together, turning off lights and setting alarms. Outside, the rain's finally stopping and the city glitters like scattered jewels. Dante's car waits at the curb, not the intimidating black sedan from before, but something smaller, more personal. We drive home along the coastal road, and I watch the ocean appear in flashes between buildings. You know what I'm thinking? Dante says. What? I'm thinking about white roses. The reference catches me off guard. Why white roses? Because every year on the anniversary of the night you saved me, I want to send one to the restaurant. A reminder that beauty can grow from broken things. My chest tightens. That's perfect. Not perfect. He glances at me. Just true. When we get home, the house feels different. Not because anything's changed physically, but because we're different. We've built something together that matters. Something that will outlive us. That night, lying in bed listening to ocean waves, Dante traces patterns on my shoulder. What are you thinking about? I ask. Tattoos. I laugh. Random. Not really. I'm thinking about getting Isabella's name over my heart. And yours on my wrist. Why my wrist? Because that's where you grabbed me the night you stopped me from killing Vieri. Where you literally pulled me back from becoming someone I couldn't live with. His fingers find my wrist, circling it gently. A reminder that mercy is stronger than revenge. You don't need a tattoo for that. Maybe not. But I want one anyway. He pulls me closer. I want to carry both of you with me. The woman who taught me how to love and the woman who taught me how to live. I kiss him, tasting salt and gratitude, and something that feels like forever. When we break apart, he's smiling that smile that still makes my heart race. I love you, he says simply. It's the first time either of us has said it out loud. The words hang in the air like vows. I love you too, I whisper back. We fall asleep tangled together, and I dream of restaurants and white roses and a future that keeps surprising me with its brightness. Some people say leopards can't change their spots. That people are who they are, and hoping for better is naive. But I've learned different. I've learned that change is possible when someone sees you clearly and loves you anyway. When mercy becomes a choice instead of a weakness. When quiet girls find their voices and dangerous men remember their hearts. 3 years ago, my daddy died because nobody spoke up. But I'm speaking now. For him. For Isabella. For every person who deserves a second chance at life. And if our story taught me anything, it's this. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is drop a tray. Sometimes saving someone means saving yourself. And sometimes the person everyone fears is just someone who forgot how to hope. Until someone reminds them. This is Amara Sterling, signing off from La Vida Nueva, where every meal is a fresh start and every guest is a story worth hearing. We're proof that the quiet ones can change the world. That mercy wins. That love, real love, transforms everything it touches. And yeah, sometimes it all starts with a clumsy waitress, a drunk mafia boss, and a night when the rain wouldn't stop falling. But that's how the best stories always begin. In rain and risk and the terrifying choice to care, when caring might cost you everything.